Good evening, children. Good evening, parents, school administrations. My name is Saudin. In today's lesson, I am going to introduce you to the basic openings. And those openings are called open games because both sides are opening the king with e4, e5. Right. So those are very important openings for children who are starting to play chess, and we'll talk about basic strategies and see how to develop the pieces in the beginning of the game. So let me introduce you to the first opening. That's called Gioco Piano. Now this opening is very popular among the kids, and you can see this opening in the tournaments very often, right? So let's see what is the basic of this opening. In the beginning, you need to open your chess pieces. So when we play move e4, there are many benefits of this move. First, you are controlling the center, the black side of the board. But at the same time, you are opening the bishop and you are opening the queen. So black plays e5, and that's why we call those openings open games, because the both kings are now opened. Now, knight goes to f3. Excellent move, because knight on f3 is attacking the black center. Knight on f3 is protecting your own king. Knight on f3 is protecting the king when king needs to go into the castling. And then when you open the game, when you push pawn to d4, this knight can recapture the pawn. So very good move. Knight goes to c6. Another great move. Bishop c4 and bishop c5. And now white can play many different moves, right? But the move that we are going to be studying is c3. And this is called in chess gioco piano, right? Italian game. Right? Now, the idea of this move is to push the pawn to d4 and build up a very strong, powerful center. So black needs to do something about, right? Um, the correct move here for black is knight to f6. And with this move, black is doing counterattack on this pawn on e4 and doesn't allow white to build a very strong center. Now, white can push the pawn to d4, right? Play this move. Or another great move is pawn to d3, right? So we are going to study this move as well later. Now, let's see pawn to d4. Black has to take this pawn, and white also takes. Now, white has a strong center. If the black moves back, let's say to b6, then this center would become very, very powerful. Let me show you why. Let's say you play this move, then we could have those two pawns move forward, and the black could be in trouble very soon. Let's say black plays move like d5, attacks the pawn, you take on f6, pawn takes on c4, d5. Look at this cool move, because now knight has to move, and check on a4, and you can capture the knight on b4. That's just one of the example what could happen if those two pawns in the center move forward, because they are really attacking the black knights, and the black knights are very important for the defense of the black king. So this can happen. Now, let's go back and see what is correct way to do it. Instead of playing bishop b6, black needs to play bishop to b4. Right, check. And now white can play two different moves. The best move is bishop d2. But if you play knight to c3, then black has to take this pawn, right? Black takes the pawn on e4, and uh, and this pawn on e4 is very important, right? For white, there's this pin, right? And the game can continue with a castling, and now black can take with a bishop on c3, and and then support that knight with a d5, right? So this is one example here. Here, white would probably have to play a move like d5, and that's how this game continues. I don't want to go too deep into this position, right? Because this is supposed to be just a little overview of the openings. But I am going to explain you this later in other lessons, like we are going to study this position later on. Now, let's go to bishop e4, right? And white plays bishop d2. There is a trade here, knight takes, and now a very, very important move that you have to learn when you play this position with the black side. And not only in this position, but many other positions with a e4 and e5. This move, d5, is the most important that you have to learn about. Because if you allow those white pawns to move forward, then the black knights will have to move from their natural positions, and the attack on the black king is very real, right? So for that reason, you have to play this move and stop those pawns to move forward, right? Now you can trade, put your knight into the center, and after the move like castling, both sides are fine. Both sides have a good game, and you can play this with a white, and you can play this with a black side, and just continue playing a good game, right? So let's go back, and we are going to learn Gioco Piano one more time. We're going to go through all the moves. How about this? I am going to hide the, let me go back, and then I'm going to hide the moves so you cannot see them. And now you have to remember them. Do you think you can do that? Let's try. The first move for white was pawn to e4. Then black played pawn to e5. What was the second move for white? Okay, if you found this move knight f3, let's try to memorize those moves. Knight c6, and then white played bishop to c4. Try to guess moves with me. I try to figure out what happened. If you make mistake, it's okay. We're gonna learn this. Now the move for black was bishop to c5. And now the introduction to this Gioco Piano opening is pawn to c3. White wants to push the pawn to d4, build up the strong center. And we talked about is how black defends this position, right? Black has to play a counter move and not allow this attack in the center. Knight f6, counter attack on the pawn on e4. Pawn goes to d4. Now you have to take this pawn with the black side. White takes, and a very important move for black, check, right? You don't want to go back like bishop e7 or bishop e6 because those two pawns are going to move forward, and yeah, you may get into the trouble. Bishop e4, check. And now white blocks the check with a bishop d2. This is the best move. Bishop takes, and knight takes. I'm wondering if you're going to remember the move that we talked about. It's black to move. If you remember this move, then you are a great chess player, right? How about we change the board? You are black. Find a good move here. That move is pawn to d5, a very important move. And you will see many times we're going to play this move in open games. Now, pawn takes, and then knight takes. Knight is protected by the queen. Of course, if bishop takes on d5, that would not be good for white because then the queen goes into the center of the board. Queen is very powerful there in the center. Castling and castling. And now there are many moves that white can play. We're gonna stop here, right? This is something that you have to know on the beginner's level, right? Try to practice this. Try to go back to this study, right? You can find this study in NYChessKids account. Let me show you where. Okay, let's enter the and we are here. So the lesson is in intermediate 1 level. And when you scroll all the way down, let me see, what is that lesson? Oh, here, Introduction to the Openings. So it's lesson number 8. So you go here to study and you're going to get the same positions that I'm explaining you, and then you can practice the gioco piano just to see the most important moves. Okay, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed the introduction to gioco piano opening. I'll see you in our next lesson. Bye bye.